All right, so we're going to continue with question number 13, you guys. Hopefully this one time we won't have any technical difficulties. So remember, you're going to move your 20 over to the left side. So I'm going to have 5x plus 20 equals 4y. Now, in order for me to graph this, I got to get y equals. So I'm going to divide it by 4 on everything. And make sure you have your handwritten notes, Drake, because remember, it's 100 points and you don't get anything if you don't have anything there. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to go ahead and cancel my 4. Y is equal to 20 divided by 4 is a 5. And then I have 5 over 4x. That is my equation. Like, seriously, you need to write down your notes. Okay, do you have it? Yeah, I shouldn't have to do this, but you're sitting right in front of me. So make sure you do that. Your M is a 5 over 4. And your B is a 5. So if I'm going to go ahead and graph this, I'm just going to graph it right here. Okay, I'm going to start at 5. So I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put a dot right there. And then I look at my slope, and my slope is up 5 over 4. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know my graph is a little bit above the grid. And then I'm going to go down 5 and to the left 4. So I'm going to go down 5 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And then let's go ahead and connect the dots. And your job is to match which graph matches my green graph, A, B, C, or D. Well, it might be helpful if the graph is in the same direction. So it's not D, because you see how the graph of D and the green graph, they're in 2 different directions, so it's not D. And also, you know that you started here at 5. And this one starts at -4, and C starts at -5. So it's not C and it's not A. 5, or B as in boy, does start at 5. So that will be the only correct answer that you can use. So it is B as in boy. Drake, I'm dead serious. Make sure you start writing it down. All right, let's go on to number 14, you guys. So take a moment, and I want you guys to highlight the important part that I'm highlighting, especially the one where it says select all that applies. All right, so as the graph is showing how much student has money in their account, okay? Which of the following statement is true? Select all that applies. So what that means is on your test, you have questions like this, which means there is more than one answer that is correct. So most likely you have to select 2 or more right answers, okay? So on the left side, this is how much money he has. Starting off, you can see it starts off at, if this is 36, 38, 40, 42. So he starts at $40. It's 40 bucks, okay? This is the number of lunches. So it's going by 3, 6, 9, 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just so I know like the intervals of where that's going. And here it says each lunch costs $4. Well, how do I know it's $4? Well, from 40 to here, do you see how I'm 40 to 36? What's the difference between 40 to 36? Because it does give you 1 lunch. Well, isn't the difference 40 minus 36 $4? So lunch costs $4 is correct. So I'm going to circle F. That is definitely one of the answers. G is not one of the answers because it says it costs $3, and I just did the math and it costs $4. Okay. H, the account started with a balance of 40 bucks. Did he start off with $40? Yes, he did. So far you have F and H as the correct answer. So far you have 2. That's good. Let's check the rest of them to make sure they're incorrect before we stop. The student won't have any money left in the account after eating 7 lunches. And if you look over here, here is 6, that's 7, and that's not true because at 7 lunches, how much money does he have in his account? He still have $12, so I is not correct, so we're not going to use I. J, the student has enough money in the account to pay for 40 lunches. I don't know if that's true because if I keep going with this graph, it looks like he's going to get a balance of 0 right at 10 lunches. Do you guys see that? At 10 lunches, he is going to have 0. So that's not correct answer. So the only correct answer is F and H. But you have to select both answers, and if you don't, your answer will be marked wrong. All right, number 15, you guys, go ahead and take a moment, read the question, highlight the important information. All right, which equation passes through this? All right, so this is like a slope question. So you're gonna put M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the first thing you do. That's your slope formula, okay? Then when you look at the slope right here, we're gonna label these 2 points. The first one is x1, y1. Second one is x2, y2. All right, so let's go ahead and plug that in. When you plug this in, y2 minus y1 is going to be 8 minus 5 on top, okay? On the bottom, -1/2 minus 3 over 2. I know, you thought you were going to be done with fractions after 4th grade, but guess what? You're not. All right, so let's go ahead and subtract it. 8 minus 5 is a 3 on the bottom. They both have common denominators, so that's going to be a 2. -1 minus 3 is a -4. So -4 over 2. And you're going to have to work this a little bit like back in elementary school. So 3 divided by -4 over 2 is the same thing as saying 3 times -2 over 4. Do you see how we just like flipped it like back in elementary school? So then let's just multiply across. 3 times -2 is a -6. 1 times 4 is just going to be a 4. If I go ahead and reduce this, I will have a -3 over 2 as my slope. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see which one has a -3 over 2 in front with the x. Well, that's a +3 over 2. That's a positive 3 over 2. Can't be A or B. I see that there's a negative 3 over 2 here and a negative 3 over 2 here. So it can either be C or D. Okay. So I just don't know which one it is yet. So we're going to have to keep working a little bit more. Okay. So Y equals MX plus B. One thing that I couldn't tell for sure is that if you look at and if you're not sure about this, you can always grab your answers because you have them in the very back of this. So I'm just gonna grab the answers and just check to see. So let's go ahead and open that up. So I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom. This is question number 15. So let me take a look. Let's see. For question number 15, the correct answer is D as in dog. That's what it's saying. D as in dog is question number 15. So I'm gonna go back to my answers here and go, okay, why is this one be D as in dog? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So you have Y, which is going to be, you could pick a point. And if you look at D right here, do you see how they have 5 right here and they have a negative 3 over 2? So clearly they picked this first point right there. Okay, so we're going to plug that in. So Y is 5 is equal to M that we just found is a negative 3 over 2. X is going to be my positive 3 over 2 plus B. Okay, my goal here is to go ahead and solve for B. So looking at this, 5 is equal to negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9 over 2 plus B. I will have to go ahead and solve for B. So in order for me to solve for B, I will have to add the 9 over 2 on both sides. So B is equal to 5 plus 9 over 2. And here, if I make that a 2, that becomes a 10. So I have 19 over 2. And if you take a look at your answer here, which is D right here, you'll notice that you're going to eventually have the negative 3 over 2 times the B right there. And do you see how you have the negative 3 over 2 times the B? So your correct answer has to be D as in dog because all the points matches. All right, let's go on to number 16, you guys. All right, so with this one, select all that applies is another type of question you have. So there's more than one correct answer, obviously. It's a select the equation has a slope of 1/2. So M equals 1/2. That's the first part. And it goes through point -6, 2. Okay, so if I look at F right there, for F, your slope is 1/2 right there. Okay, and then if I plug in the numbers here, Y minus 6, X plus 2. If you're not sure, let's go ahead and take a look at the answers. Okay, so I go to number 16. The correct answer is G, I, and J. So G, I, and J are my correct answer. F is not included in it. And you're like, why is it not included? Because this equation is y sub 1, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. And if you go and plug in the numbers, y minus y, 1, here's y1, y minus 2 equals 1/2 x minus -6. Does not match. Like the order of the numbers is completely wrong. So that's why F is not one of the answers for number 16, okay? Now let's take a look at G. Does G matches this equation? You know that double negative does give you a positive, and yeah, it matches. So G is definitely one of the answers. Take a look at letter H, okay? If I were to solve for this, so I can find the slope, I'm gonna move my x over to the right side. So 2y is equal to -x plus 5. If I divide it by 2 on everything, I'm gonna have y equals -1/2x plus 5/2. And if you look at the slope, this slope is a -1/2. Your slope is a +1/2. So the sign does not match. So we cannot use H. Okay, so now let's take a look at I. With I, your slope is 1/2. Does that match my slope of the equation? Yes, it does. So I is definitely an answer. Okay, J. Don't know what the slope is because it's not solved. So I'm gonna move the x over to the right side. If I move the x over to the right side, I have -2y equals -x minus 10. Divided by -2 on everything. Double negative cancels. Y is equal to negative divided by a negative is a positive. -10 divided by a -2 is a +5. Do you have a slope of 1/2 right here? Yes, you do. So J is an answer as well. Now with K, you're like, why is K not an answer? Because it does have a 1/2 right there. But remember the second criteria is it has to go through the point -6, 2. So Y is 2. 1/2 times X is -6 plus 2. Like the two of those equations have to equal each other. So let's check to see if it's equal to each other. What is 1/2 of -6? -3. What is -3 plus 2? Is -3 plus 2 2? Nope. 2 does not equal -1. And because it doesn't equal, it's not the correct answer. So we cross that out. So the only one that works is G, I, and J. And that is your answer. All right, that was kind of a difficult one. That was very long. I'm sorry about that one. But, we have to go through the hard questions too. Number 17. What are the x coordinates or x-intercept for the equation this right here? So first thing I want you to do is highlight the word x-intercept. And what it's saying is when y equals 0, what is x equal to? Okay, so you just simply cover the y, just cover that up. Okay, don't even bother looking at it. So then you have 6x is equal to 24. Okay, when they're divided by 6 on both sides, x equals 24 divided by 6 is going to give me a 4. So x is 4, y is 0. Which one does that match? A, B, C, or D? And that is your answer. That's all that you have to do. So it's looking for the x-intercept. You just take your finger and just seriously cover up the y. Just don't even look at it. And then just solve. All right, number 18. So take a moment, read question number 18, and then highlight the important information. Good morning. Make sure you grab a highlighter, my dear, and the study guide if you don't have it already. All right, this might be our last one. So the table shows the cost of an automobile repair depending on the time the repair takes. So if it takes 1 hour, it's gonna cost you $85. And obviously the longer the repair takes on your car, the more expensive it's gonna be, which makes sense, you know, because they're getting paid per hour. So a customer spend this much for an automobile repair. Which equation can be solved for X, the time it takes for the repair to take place? Okay, so let's take a look at the difference here. What's the difference between 1 to 2 hours? What's the difference between 2 to 3 hours? What's the difference between 3 to 4 hours? So with your calculator, take 145 minus 85. With your calculator, take 205 minus 145. With your calculator, take 265 minus 205. What is the difference between those three numbers? How much is this auto person getting paid per hour? $60, yeah. So your slope is $60 an hour, okay? So I'm gonna do something with 60x. How much does it start off with? Your B is at 85, okay? And if you're not sure what the answer is, we can go and take a look. So for number 18, I'm just gonna peek over here. 18, the correct answer is C as in cat, okay? And you can always work backwards. So this is the correct answer, but I have to ask myself, why is that the correct answer? Well, if you look at this right here, your M, like I said, is 60x. There's a 60x right there. My B is gonna be 85, which is what I start off with, minus the $60 per hour. And what is that gonna give you? 25. There's a 25 right there. What is your total cost? Your total cost is 640. So C is the correct answer. 60x plus 25 equals 640. And that is the correct answer for C. Okay, maybe we can do one more, just one more. Number 19, you guys, number 19. And we'll stop after this. Okay, so for number 19, it says, given the graph of the equation, which statement is about the slope is going to be true? Let's take a look at the graph right over here first, okay? This graph, you're starting at 2. Your slope is positive, and it looks like you're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, going over 1. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4 over to the left one. So your slope is up 4 over 1. So it's just 4 over 1. Now take a look over here on the right side. On the right side, you can't tell what the slope is because you haven't solved anything. So I'm going to go ahead and move my x over to the right side. So you have negative y equals negative 3x plus 12. I don't want there to be a negative y. I want everything positive. So if I change that y to a positive, that negative becomes a positive 3x. That negative 12 becomes a negative 12. The positive becomes a negative 12. And so then with this one, my slope is 3/1 and my b is at negative 12. Okay, so now that I have both of them solved, I can look at my answers and see which one is correct. A says line A has a larger value for slope. Does this one have a bigger number for slope? Yes, it does. So that might be my answer, but I'm not 100% sure. B says line B has a larger value for slope. Well, B is a 3 or A is a 4, so that's not true. So it's definitely not B. C says A and B have the same slope. Is 4 and 3 the same? Heck no, it's not. So it's not C. And it's not D because it cannot be determined because I did determine it. And your correct answer is A as an apple. Okay, I lied. One more question. One more. We'll do one more. Okay. Okay, maybe not this one. We'll go over this one next time. So as you can see, this is kind of like what your final will be like. I will encourage you guys to kind of go over them. If you have not done the exit ticket yet, make sure you guys complete the exit ticket so that way you can at least get points for this. And keep in mind, you'll be turning this in on Friday, so it needs to be handwritten. You can't just circle my answer. And it's worth 100 points. Friday, everything is on Friday. Yeah, because that's the last day I see you guys, and next week is finals. So yeah, warm up, your white packet, your study guide, they're all due on Friday, you guys. So if your warm up is not completed, make sure you go onto the YouTube channel and fill out your warm up. I mean, this is it, you guys. We don't really have any more time after that. And, you know, after the final, you guys get a final grade and that's it. I would definitely encourage you guys to make sure you go over your study guides because the test is not easy, and I want to make sure that you guys have a good chance at passing it. And if you're like, I'm really not going to do a good job on the final, then make sure you get a 75% for the safety grade. Because if you do not pass the final, you don't have a safety grade, you will fail this class. And you have to take it again next year. You're going to be taking 2 math classes, geometry in this class when you're a sophomore. And we don't want that to happen. So either study for the final or get to a safety grade. Those are your only 2 options, you guys. If you have your highlighters, please bring it up. Yeah, so go onto your white packet and go, oh, there's a lot of blanks on week 6 Friday or something. And watch the YouTube channel and then fill it out and then show it to me. And then I'll change your grade for that week. Does that make sense? Yeah. Hey, we're not leaving yet. Get your bodies back into this room. Is Jesus here today? Jesus? Jesus? Bye, guys. Have a wonderful week. It's going to be snowy on Thursday, so dress warmly. It's going to be like 32 degrees for the high on Wednesday. Have a great Monday, you guys.